Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money. We like that. All in one place for totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your cellular telephone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else, those other places that podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, zero catch. We've been using it ever since we started How Long Gone. And ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel like having the option of turning off the Q&As and the polls on the user dashboard has really helped boost my creativity and take it to another level. I highly recommend giving it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Hey, TJ, sorry, just breaking news. I was just scrolling Instagram before I called you, and Zach Bia did post screenshots from his inclusion in the NBA 2K video game. So,
is he a playable character?
I think he might be. So I just want to point out again that we are losers.
No, I mean, it's reeks of nepotism, if you ask me,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I also have been a club promoter / DJ. And
so
I did not, and I am actually the size of a basketball player. My proportions would fit in perfectly on NBA 2K, but no.
I don't know if you follow Bia. If you don't, you should. That's to everybody.
I think I do.
But he does have a wet jumper. I've seen the videos.
So you're letting me know that he's low key nice with it from the line.
Zach
from
Bia
10?
is low key nice with it from the top of the key. I can't even front.
Damn. Well, I mean, I guess you kind of have to be when you're 5'7", right?
Yeah. If you can't,
no
if you
shade.
Can't dunk,
Bia.
if you can't dunk, and you can't, really, like, you ain't got handles like me, then you better have a wet jumper like Drake.
If you can't dunk like TJ, have great handles like Chris Black. You better be.
I be feeding the ball like a damn soup kitchen out there. You already know.
Yeah, selfless on and off the court. The way that Chris,
I'm sorry.
The way that he dishes up those rocks as if
I'm feeling
as if I am a houseless. What is it called again? I forgot.
Houseless.
Yes, houseless mouth.
I'm feeling silly today. I don't know.
Is it the CBD gummies talking? I mean, I'm feeling a little silly today as well because my Wi-Fi has been down all day. My life partner's parents are in the house right now. They're talking, they're knitting, there's lunch being made and prepared. Stress and anxiety is in the air coming from her side. I'm just kind of cruising, and I'm like, hey guys, I got to do an important podcast today with my friend Chris Black.
I'm sure her parents are like, what's your white boyfriend doing in the other room with his computer?
I'm doing TJ's special work. Get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
Close the door behind you. Close it.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
Do you think they understand what a podcast is?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think
it's probably for the better.
Yeah, I just tell them it's like radio. It's like YouTube without the seeing, perhaps.
Hey, you guys listen to Joe Rogan, right? It's like that. Just a little calmer and a little less popular.
Her dad's like, oh yeah, duh. Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I fucking love Rogan. You see my kettlebells? They're fucking monkeys.
Yeah, her mom was like, yeah, after Call Her Daddy split up, like, honestly, I haven't even been checking for podcasts that much.
Jason,
it's just not the same. I'll say it.
Jason, have you been following the Red Scare merch debacle? I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, I hope my order shows up.
Yeah, I mean, I included that a little tip of the cap to that debacle in my current cultural fan fiction that I'm penning as we speak. But yeah, the deplatforming happens at some point. You know, when you have the Patreon pirate ship and you can do and say whatever you want.
Patreon pirate ship.
You don't need corporate sponsorship, brand alignment, blah blah blah.
But you know what you
to
do
pay
need,
the bills.
Jason? You need an e-com platform. We all do. Shout out to our friends at Big Cartel. Shout out to our friends at Shopify. You know, big shout outs to PayPal, the triple OG of this shit.
Yeah, I like that we still have a Big Cartel site. It lets people know that we're as old as you think we are. You know?
Yeah. You think it's just two 40-year-old guys talking, and you're fucking right.
Yeah, I look at Shopify the way I look at TikTok. I'm like, what are these youths doing?
I actually, we will make the migration to Shopify in the near future. Once we have a little downtime, but the trap is booming so hard that it's tough to just do that. You can't just shut it off.
Yeah, I mean, much like the many of the Mexican drug cartels, when you have a cartel as big as ours, it is tough to just stop. As they say, you know, it takes a long time to turn a big boat around in the ocean.
You know what it reminds me of? You know when you're driving on the highway and you look off to the left or right, and there's that long runway for 18-wheelers to run off the road if they lose control.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited for our road trip, so I'm thinking about the open road.
You're thinking about the open road. Yeah, you love driving by and you seeing that little downhill, and then the like a little gravel road, and then what looks to be a cool X Games style ski jump.
Exactly.
That is meant to keep an 18-wheeler full of Tyson chicken breasts from plummeting to its cold death.
Because when TJ's at the wheel, gone off the Gossamer CBD drops, you know, I could see us, you know, swerving.
Yeah,
and Chris,
I'm beefed up on Gossamer. I'm putting 200 milligrams on the dash of my mind.
Oh God,
baby!
It's too real. But I'm thinking about, you know, my dad has been a long suffering. He has a hard time sleeping. So I am honestly considering copping some CBD, some sort of CBD product for my dad to sleep and trying to dose him.
How are you going to be able to dose him without him knowing, though? Are you going to have to like get a little CBD capsule powder and then mix it in with his coffee in the morning in replace of a Laird superfood non-dairy creamer?
He doesn't drink coffee, and he only really drinks water, to be honest. So I think maybe what I could do is I could just slip the powder into like a fruit plate or something. Could I just sprinkle it on?
You know what? Maybe every single day you get the jar of Hellmann's mayonnaise and you empty out.
God damn it! Don't do that.
You empty out about 20 milligrams of freshly driven CBD pow into that. Stir it up for Mummy's secret little mayonnaise spread, and then every day for his 12-15 tuna salad on white. He'll be sucking it down, and no one is the wiser.
You're coming from my parents in a way that I feel like you don't realize you're going to be sitting across the table from them in just days. So it's interesting.
Do you think that it is insulting to consume mayonnaise, one of my favorite foods of all time?
The tone in your voice leads me to believe that you're saying that mayonnaise is for a basic Southern white person, and I don't disagree that that's what we are, but you can't say that. I can, you can't. You know what I mean?
Damn, bro. I mean, call Kodak because someone's projecting right now. This is this is maybe all being created in your mind, Chris. Don't worry.
Maybe you should bring some Sir Kensingtons for my parents to show them how good the good life can be.
Bro, if you can tell me how to get Sir Kensingtons through TSA security, fucking. Let me know, because I'd be a millionaire.
Here's what you should do: you should wear your Red Scare ISIS logo tee, and then have a Rimawa full of Sir Kensington's mayo, and just see what happens. And just see what happens. See if they stop you or not.
Balls in your court, TSA.
Exactly, you fucking pussies. I got fully searched. I had the bomb squad come for a candle when I was flying from LA to here.
I'm sorry, the bomb squad?
Yeah, because
did a robot have to remove your ASOP,
the Byredo was secure
with a robotic claw?
No, but they wiped it and like made me wait, and they were like, "Sorry, this won't clear. This won't clear." I literally a specialist with a shirt on, like a shirt that said "Bomb Squad," came over and looked at it. Yeah, it was insane.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, we've all faced those problems of.
And I want to say something right now. We think COVID is the disease, but you know what's the disease, Jason? It's fucking terrorism.
Fuck. Damn. I guess I never thought about that.
Don't forget about the original COVID. Okay, that's the original COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say like diseases terrorize your body.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, move over, ISIS. So you did, to circle back, you did secure the Red Scare merchandise before their e-com platforms
I was able to purchase a pink long sleeve shirt that is probably out of my realm of actual wearing, but it was more to support the gals and their movement.
Yeah, I mean, you would never wear a shirt that had a logo on it anyway, really. So this was definitely just a patronizing purchase.
Yeah, it was a purchase, but it also can go into the deep archives of the thousands of T-shirts that I have to remind me of different times in popular culture, Jason. And that's what I do this for, because this stuff doesn't need to be worn to be remembered and to be important.
Well, you were talking about while you're on your holiday break procuring a customized rubber stamp to
that's actually in the works
on all of the books in your library. But have you thought about some type of tag being made that can be sewn into all of your archival garments to let people know that this is from the closet of Senor Negro?
That's a great idea, but unfortunately, I think that I will eventually do a high profile grailed sale at some point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would lower the resale value if you were sewing.
Yeah, a lot of that unworn Supreme. You can't have a tag in there that ain't a BOGO. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'd like to protect the architecture of the clothing.
Try this on for size then, Hotshot. What about a black light sensitive kind of invisible garment dye tag thing? So as a way of second step, third party authentication. So if someone's is this a legitimate Chris Black archival piece? I don't know. Hit it with the blacklight test Room Raiders style. If it has if it has the CB stamp on there, you got yourself a grizzle.
This is something actually. This sounds like an idea for StockX that we should propose to them and sell them the IP, Jason. That's what that sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be.
You already fucked up by giving it away to all these mouth breathers listening to this podcast.
Don't worry, I edited this podcast. I will forget to edit this part out, which will seal the fate of my future because the name. It's already called a blacklight. So, I mean, the story writes itself. You know what I mean?
Are you saying a Chris Blacklight?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't mind that idea.
Okay, good. I mean, you are kind of a psychedelic fella. You always love zoning out to the B-sides and rarities of a Led Zeppelin or a
yeah, that's
Jefferson
what I love.
Airplane, as you your bedroom
every day on the way to Barry's boot camp, I just blast Dark Side of the Moon and really get into my fucking little bag in the Impala.
Yeah, when's the last time you really blasted Dark Side? Be honest.
Never actually. Really, I'm not a big fan of that type of music, personally. But neither are you. So, what's the EDM version of Dark Side of the Moon? Justice?
Fucking bass nectar, you fucking bitch. No, I don't know. Infected mushroom? Jesus.
What is that?
Open your mind. No, I mean, I'm just thinking of like psychedelic trance. That is a style of EDM that's probably the most twisted and cursed. People would call it psytrance, but it's kind of like bad trance music that has a sci-fi undertone to it.
That sounds like truly the worst genre of music ever invented.
I know. One time I DJ'd a rave deep into the trenches of Mexico on a beach in Rosarito, and there were like 4 different rooms or 4 different tents, I guess. And I was playing on like the house music tent, which was not the biggest tent. It was
I had a feeling
the psytrance area got
we know
all
you
of
were
the
playing
attention.
In the biggest tent. No matter what the genre was, we know your ass wasn't playing in the biggest tent.
No. I'm saying of all the styles of music, like if there's like a dubstep, a hip hop room, a house music, a trance, whatever. But like of all the styles, the psytrance room in this Mexican rave was the booming spot, whereas in any other rave you would ever go to, that would be like the back closet that had 17 people in it.
Wow, big room TJ coming through with the bops.
Things change down Mexico way. But let's get into our guests today. Should we?
Yeah, we have a guest, Nick Haramis, who is the editor in chief of the famed Interview magazine, Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, which is gone under some cool changes lately. I like they've changed the size, the design is crazy. The new issue is out, I think now or very soon. It has Lakeith Stanfield on the cover, shot by Nick Sethi, and styled by former guests of the show. Gabby laid it down. It's a great. It's they did it remote, and it's the first remote shoot that I've actually liked. Like, I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got to see the PDF of the new issue, and there's just like
guys, look,
like 10 interviews in it, and it's like, oh, it's a real who's who of who is interviewing who. A home run.
Well, that's kind of what Interview Magazine is known for, Jason. It's, before Beyonce was not allowing journalists to interview her, Interview Magazine was letting celebrities talk in depth.
I know that's what Interview Magazine does. You get a celeb to interview another celeb, but I'm saying this was like the all-star game. It was like, damn, heavy hitter after heavy hitter.
We know your little guy stood at attention when you saw Cassie David and Lorde in Convo.
You got Aubrey Plaza being interviewed by Adam Sandler. Diplo interviewed a K-pop group. Like, someone was doing their homework.
I mean, the range is crazy. Let's bang his line.
Oh my God! Hi. Wait, why am I the only one on camera?
Welcome to the big leagues, baby. We know how to turn it off.
I want to get mine off. How's it going? Oh wait, got it.
There you go. It's going well. How are you, Nick?
I am well. I'm at my new, or I guess not so new anymore, home office. Just working away.
Well, so I, during the beginning of quarantine, didn't you relocate to a remote location?
We, yeah. My birthday was on March 10th, which was also right around like the day before we closed our spring issue, and then like a day later, I think I had the last, like, unbeknownst to us like, super spreader event, and then everything. And then my boyfriend and I, we live here. We're in Greenpoint. Things started to seem a little bit spooky, and I'm from Canada, so we couldn't go back there. So,
oh no, not another wonderful Canadian on this podcast. I had no idea. What province are you from, eh?
Roller coaster of manners. So yeah, we went to Minnesota, which is where my boyfriend's family is from, and they live in the northern part of the state. And yeah, we were there. We decided to kind of go for maybe a week, and we were there for 6 months.
So Minnesota is basically Canada, though, right?
It's it's funny because Misha was always like, my boyfriend was always telling me how relative to Canada, how Minnesotans were so much even like are polite. And I got there, and the first time that I went, I like got off at the airport in Minneapolis, and I lit a cigarette. I was still like smoking at the time, I guess. And
so this is a long-term relationship. Good to know.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just like my first experience with like the politeness of. I was quickly. I realized the fallacy of that of their. I was like, I just keep getting yelled at by people, but yeah, over time they're nice.
So what do you do you're in rural Minnesota for 6 months. Can you? That feels like that would take some time to acclimate to.
I think I would have gone totally bonkers had we gone back to my family. To live.
Were you wait? Hold on. Were you living with his family, or were you in your own place?
Oh yeah. No, we were in his childhood.
Oh shit. Okay, that makes it a little different. You buried the lead.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So we were with Margie, Arno, his parents, and then Pasha, his brother. And so there were 5 of us in the house that he grew up in. And they
all have very cool exotic names, though.
Yeah, funny. I think their actual names, like Misha's actual name is Michael. They're big. In any case, yeah, we went back, and I think I would have gone totally nuts had it been my own family, because you kind of can't help but revert into that adolescent attitude or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But as a guest in somebody else's place, it was so nice. I had a great time. And I kind of acclimated from day one. It was like cold, and we like wore slippers and drank tea and watched movies, and I was like sold from the get.
I just can't do it. I can't slow down, and this quarantine hasn't changed that. Like, I just have no interest in that. It's bad, I think.
Yeah, Chris Black is like a shark. If he stops moving, he will die. Whereas I could take 6 months off with the Ugg boots on, blasting the holiday for the 17th time with a cup of cocoa, just like you.
It wasn't like I stopped. Work somehow became more efficient because there weren't like all the trappings of magazine editorship. There weren't like things that I had to go to or
the assistants fighting to bring you Starbucks. We know it's glamorous. You don't have to boast.
Yeah, if only anyone had a glimpse into how to. There are no dueling assistants for my coffee. But I don't know. With removing all the trappings, it took us a second to kind of find footing and figure out how to make a magazine remotely from my in-laws' kitchen table. But we kind of did, and it was great. And so there was the the higgy. Is that how you say it? There was like the cozy part,
Mm-hmm.
Off hours. But then I kind of got into a routine.
This kind of feels like a great holiday movie plotline of like you
does.
bonding with your boyfriend's mother about we're going to build Interview magazine. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. There was like second.
Can I help?
Where have you guys been throughout the entire thing?
Well, I've
or am I not? Am I allowed to ask questions? Everyone already knows what you've been up to. Is that right?
No, of course.
Please.
No, please. This is an open forum for dialogue.
Okay.
No, I went to Montreal, and then I took a southern road trip from New York to Atlanta with some stops. Then I was in LA for 6 months, and now I'm back in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I've just been in LA, but little road trips here and there, but no major travel. I haven't been on an airplane, since the quarantine. But that's going to change come Christmas.
Where are you headed?
I'm going to go visit Chris's homeland of Atlanta, and then kind of bop around to a couple southern cities.
Yeah, we're doing a small southern road show. Nashville, Asheville, and Charleston. All my favorite spots.
All the vills. We're going to go.
Have you been to the South, Nick?
No.
He's
been to South Canada. Border towns mostly.
I went when you said Montreal. I went to college in Montreal, so I know.
Are you a McGill graduate?
Yeah, I went to the Harvard of the North.
We love only graduates of McGill call it the Harvard of the North. That's why I like that phrase.
It's the most cringe thing. Like during the first week of every school year, they would sell those sweatshirts that said that, and you were like seriously kind of like proud of it, but also like mostly really embarrassed by it.
Yeah, well, Harvard is also in the North. You know what I mean? So it's a little confusing, but I see what they're trying to do there. Are you from Toronto? I'm
from Cornwall, Ontario, which is close. It's like an hour from Montreal on the way to Toronto. It's on the Quebec border, Ontario.
Holy shit! You're exotic. Nick, I didn't realize.
Yeah, Nick, you are painfully Canadian, aren't you?
Yeah, like full. Yeah.
What's your brand of cigarette, if you don't mind me asking?
What was the brand?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I smoked Belmont Milds,
of course,
when I was in Canada, and then you really get them here. So I smoked Marlboro Lights, but then I got
classic man.
I did hypnotherapy, and then
oh shit, it worked.
It worked. It's so insane. I did it on a whim. A friend's house. His dad was a hypnotherapist, and everyone was kind of getting fixing things about themselves, and I wasn't sure of what I wanted to do, and I wasn't even interested in quitting smoking. But I did that, and then it just worked so well. I have not had a cigarette since.
Really? How long did the whole process take?
Well, that's the crazy part, is because I was under the impression by the end of so we were sort of sitting there, and he told me to go through my mental Rolodex, A to Z, Z to A to Z, like whatever. I don't totally know what that means, but I had my eye when I was doing it. And then he kind of brought you out that way with like saying that refrain back and forth. And I was like, oh, clearly it didn't work because that was just 2 seconds ago. And he was like, no, you've actually been out for like 20 to 25 minutes.
Whoa.
So there's a whole span of time that I can't really account for. But yeah, it worked.
That's pretty. I was always under the impression that it took like 3 or 4 sessions, or is that just hypnotists milking people for money? And since this is your friend's dad, it was a little more to the point.
I got the discount.
The discount is 1 session. Look, sit down. We're gonna take care of this right now. Don't worry about it. I never see you again.
Now I'm wondering what other things you can remove from your
what did your
daily
friends,
repertoire other than smoking.
What did your friends remove?
One of my friends, she had a terrible fear of public speaking. And I don't know, that she's ever I don't
tried it.
She's like, well, we've been in quarantine, so
Yeah, I don't know how effective that one was. And then Misha had been on that really bad. It was, news is so awful that it comes so quickly. But there was like a front page Time story back in March of a couple of years ago when there was a Turkish Airlines flight coming back to New York, and it hit a pocket of air. Like the weather was totally fine, but nobody had their seatbelts on, and so the turbulence was so bad that they were doing beverage cart service, and the carts hit the ceiling, and people were really injured.
Holy shit!
It was a total horror story, and then everyone survived, but there were a lot of people who got really hurt,
pretty banged up.
And Misha was flew all the time. And so anyway, his was to fly happily again.
That's a crazy ass story. There was no weather. It was a total surprise. A beverage cart hitting the ceiling is a real visual.
It's a terrifying visual. Yeah. There was no clouds in the sky. It was like a totally normal day, and I guess I don't know really what I'm talking about, but there was
it was
welcome
just
to the club.
It was just a freak accident. You caught some bad air. That's what we say up there, us flyboys.
Yeah, so they caught a pocket of bad air, and it was terrible. And they were close enough to New York that they had already begun, or they were about to begin their descent, and so they had cell service. So Misha was able to be texted goodbye. It was a really bad scene, and so he really wanted to fix it because he flies a lot for work, and he's an artist and bops around quite a bit. So that's why we did it. And the sort of I don't know. Then I stopped smoking.
Well, Nick, I have to say that as much of a horror story as that sounds like, it really is making me miss flying and travel. I gotta say, it's been so long since I've taken a flight. You know what I mean?
That's the takeaway from that.
My takeaway is actually reminds me. Have you ever been cupped? And I'm talking about for your back.
Yeah,
I thought you said cucked.
No.
No, I've been cupped.
So I'd never experienced this before, but I was having serious elbow problems from Too Much Berries boot camp a couple of years ago, and the acupuncturist who was doing the cupping was like, let's try some wet cupping. And it's where they prick your skin and suck blood out, because they say, and this is what it reminds me of, because you said bad air, they call it bad blood. And they wipe the blood away and show it to you, and it's like coagulated and it looks funny. And then I was healed.
Wow.
I know.
Does it have anything to do? It sounds sort of, I actually don't know if the vampire facial that I think was popular.
It does sound similar. I've never done that, unfortunately, because my whole thing is I'm kind of willing to try anything. Have you had a vampire facial?
No, God, no. But I would love to.
God,
but I definitely do.
No, dying to. I mean, also no Taylor Swift jokes at all yet, huh, guys? Okay, he did say bad blood.
Came up and then sort of passed me by.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Wise.
I have had like a facial. I went to like the face gym place. Are you know, Nick? You know what I'm talking about?
I can't say I do. No.
It's like they like massage your face, but it's like a facial in this way. Like it's pretty intense, but I highly recommend it.
Okay. I've been going down this weird rabbit hole on Instagram where, like SpawnCon begets more SpawnCon. And so I'm getting the reels, the new like IG section of edited videos where chiropractors will really rip at people's necks and do the big like cracking.
The ring dinger? Have you seen the ring dinger?
I don't know. I don't end up following any of them because I don't need to. They're all my explores like only chiropractor horror videos, but they're so satisfying.
It's so funny you bring this up because I watch hours of these a week on YouTube.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Yeah, Nick, this is literally Chris's wheelhouse. This is
my beat.
This is his Asian chicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is my beat.
I find it really soothing to watch, and I want it to be done to me. Like
everyone in my life thinks I'm a real freak, but it's actually the ones I watch. It makes me want to get into like physiotherapy. It makes me want to give it all up and become like a hybrid chiropractor physiotherapist.
Really? You want to do it? You want to do the cracking yourself? You want to administer on somebody else?
I want it. I just think it's so. The relief you bring people. It just seems like a real gift.
Yeah,
like it's God's touch.
The psychology behind people who are really fascinated or obsessed with these types of videos. I'm curious about what the through line is because I have some other friends who also are obsessed with watching these videos, and I wonder what the correlation is to why you get so much pleasure from that.
It feels slightly less. It's like the pimple popper people.
Yeah.
But those people are clearly like insane.
Yeah.
That's where you draw the line.
So the pimple popper is there to make chiropractor freaks feel a little bit better about themselves.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know. I think I found it, Nick, because I was watching like fitness shit on YouTube. That's how I think it got served to me that way.
I keep talking about how all I want for Christmas is the really souped up Theragun.
Like the pro version. It's like $800.
Yeah, and it purrs like a kitten, like you can't hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because my Theragun, it sounds like an old 38 Roadster turning over. Chug, 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 chug.
I think a lot of them do. So then you can't kind of do it while you're watching TV, which is my preferred.
Yeah, the subtitles can only do so much. Am I right?
That's true. Yeah. Watching subtitles on a Bravo show while getting massaged is it's a lot to ask. Yeah. I got one of the newer ones and it's still pretty loud, but I think that's literally the only. I think the good one, like the $800 one, the arm is adjustable and it's quiet. That's the only difference.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's been my gateway to the chiropractic world. I think I keep talking about it, and so I assume that that's sort of why those things are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
I've also noticed though on Instagram that you've been on a serious quarantine fitness journey, much like myself.
It's really hard when your body. I want to hear about yours. It's really hard when your body shifts, not to want to just like show the world that it is shifting. I'm like, I was never aware of my body in a way, and now I'm like, wow, things like it exists and does things.
Did you not? Were you not working out before, or were you just like a once a week Equinox guy, or what was the vibe?
I had the Equinox membership, and like it's something that felt like enough. Like I
sure. Having the app that you can scan in is good enough. That's the workout.
Yeah, like I had it, and then I would like get the towel, and kind of like do some. I don't know. I wasn't really using it to its full advantage, and then and I went to Minnesota and was like, oh, there's not tons to do here, and so I got a Zoom trainer, and he is so wonderful, and I see him twice a week, and it's become like, it's been like I've started running too, and so there's that, and then I do the weight training with him, but then he's also a bit of a therapist. Like we talk about how we're feeling about the evolution of COVID.
Yes.
he's become many things to me.
We really have a very similar COVID fitness arc.
Tell me about your.
Well, I mean, we talk about it a lot on the show, but I met a trainer in LA through. Do you know Ryan O'Connell?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, Ryan introduced me to his trainer, and his name is Hunter. And we just hit it all, and he basically introduced me to the rings, like the Olympic rings, and all this like movement stuff. So I was seeing him 3 times a week in LA, like at a park, and I was running on my days off. But him and it was a similar thing. It was like it was becoming a very important relationship in my life. Like the 3 days a week were what I look forward to it every morning. You know.
Okay, guys. Question for you: have you found yourself over the months? Your trainers have been taking care of mind, body, and spirit. Do you feel yourself emotionally cheating on your partner with your physical trainer?
The fear is there.
It's funny. I'm like not even laughing at the question.
Please unpack that, Nick.
People will hear me in the other room and be like, it's weird how y'all are like talking about your feeling, and I can't really. I wish I could give an example. It's just like the undercurrent of the conversations are always like, well, we're between lifting weights, sort of talking about, how where we're at.
I just think it really is. I've just never really had a trainer for a long period of time, and I feel like that maybe happens more often than we think, and we're both just fairly new to it. And maybe we got lucky.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, that's kind of part of the reason why you do it. You know, like I'm taking tennis lessons, but I ain't trying to learn tennis. You know what I mean? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think that. So you've seen results, Nick, because you're looking fucking shredded.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been running a lot too. I guess it's all like, there are none of. It goes back to the sort of lack of. Like extracurriculars of editorship.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know, I'm not going to things. There aren't dinners. There's not free champagne at things. So I'm not really drinking. It's something to do, and it feels like a nice outlet. I felt like whenever we went to Minnesota, it was like there was a bit of a reset button that was hit. It felt really, I don't know, it felt nice. And being there in the middle of the woods, it was such a beautiful place to run. I just always hated running.
So this is totally new for you. The running is total. Oh, wow. Amazing. So what do we do? What's the program looking like?
It's such an about face. My program, are you asking me about what I do?
Yeah, running specifically. Yeah.
Do 2 miles in the morning. And then I do 5 miles at night. And
let's go.
I do a Saturday or Sunday off, and then the other day I do 10 miles.
Ooh,
shit,
Nick!
My man.
How late at night are you doing your running?
Sorry, I was just thinking about how boring this has to be for anyone.
No.
This is literally what we talk about.
I asked that because I was listening to an interview with recently soft canceled David Sedaris, who said that he will go on walks at midnight, so when he wakes up in the morning, he already has 5 miles logged for the day, which is like true freak behavior. And it sounds like you guys might be interested in some type of activities like that.
I do often consider. I'm also meditating. Everything's on an app, right? So like for running, Nike Run Club,
Same.
And that has become. Are you in the like? There's a Media Miles Club. Do you know?
No. I haven't been invited to this upper echelon. Okay. Please let me know.
I'm almost
this convinced that
I'm invited.
Chris, I've been on it for months.
Shut up. What'd you say, Nick?
I think I've been uninvited from it because I think I got too competitive, and like it's not meant to be a competition. It's just like everybody kind of.
What kind of people are these? Is it like Sam Shuby and Liana Satinstein who like train with Joe Holder? Or are we talking about everybody?
It's people specifically, not exclusively, but a lot of people from the world of like sports media and like running.
Okay.
It's not totally a crew that I'm familiar with.
So you're out here competing with Barstool Sports interns, and you're killing them.
I was in the monthly challenges. I was coming first, and they happen every month, since April. And all of a sudden, I like didn't get the notification for the most recent one, and I'm pretty convinced they were like, we don't want this guy.
Well, consider your jersey to be retired in the rafters. You weren't kicked off. You were simply too good for this league. So you need to level up. I mean,
you need to find a new league with more serious competition, is what it sounds like.
Yeah,
to
sports
me.
media, all those fatties can't keep up with you. You need real, just sports people.
Yeah, you need athletes, not media. That's what's going on here. What shoes are you wearing?
Well, the Nike humans were hooking me up, so they would need the new. I was test driving the new sneakers.
Because there's a big arc on this podcast where the 4% destroyed my ankle and I had to send them back.
Well, it was one of the biggest arcs of this year.
But I do wear the Epic React Flyknit now, which is giving the toe box is wider, giving my toes more room, giving me a better stride.
I believe that I might have the Flyknit, Scott. See, like that's where you poke holes in me being an actual a real runner, because they have like a rainbow swoosh on the side. Yes.
You know the pair.
You know the ones. Are they white?
Yeah, they're white.
Yes, I'm familiar. No, I never liked the way they looked, and then I actually put them on, and I now like the way they look, but they're also the best running shoes I found because, much like you, even though I'm paying for mine, I'm very loyal to the Nike brand.
Nick, are you starting to get the vibe of this show where I'm asking you what brand of cigarettes you smoke, and he asks you what model of Nikes you're running in?
That's kind of how it goes over here at How Long Gone Industries. But I've honestly been impressed with your journey. I really have been, because you've been really getting it in.
Thanks. I've been on a total I was feeling frazzled at the top of this year, and I think a lot of people were, not to be earnest in response to, but I was, and I don't know. I felt like the running has really helped, and it's and I do, like I said, I meditate on Headspace in the morning. I've become just totally fucking insufferable.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Jason's a big meditator as well. I can't. Unfortunately, I run too hot and I'm unable to do it, but that could be an effort issue on my part.
Yeah. Nick, has this changed the type of music that you're listening to, perhaps?
No, I'm still listening almost exclusively to early aughts pop hits, and that hasn't changed.
You're like, nothing could stop me.
Yeah. It's always Emery or or a Black with Fergie. There's not tons of.
Wow, that's actually very cool. That's underappreciated.
You're going on a woodsy Minneapolis run, and you're listening to "Let's Get It Started in Here" by BEP featuring Fergie.
And nothing if not a walking contradiction. It feels like
that's a twisted place, the inside of your earbuds, I gotta say, and I'm impressed by that.
That era of, do you think that's because that's a happy time in your life, or do you just really like that music that much?
I think that probably the former. I feel like, I don't know, when you're young and you're dancing with friends and you don't have much, there's a lack of self-awareness, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It brings me back to a fun time, and I feel like all the music now, I'll listen to whatever's popular on Apple Music, and I don't know, the Bieber, Shawn Mendes stuff doesn't really.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, excuse me. We're gonna have to walk that back. As the president of the Shawn Mendes Hive, that song is not good, but the single, the namesake song of the album is a smash. I would love for you to give it a spin and let me know what you think.
Well, I thought that isn't the song Wonder. Is that not their duet?
No, that is not the duet. The duet leaves a lot to be desired, but I understand you as a fellow hot Canadian wanting to relate to that song. You know what I mean? You want to be the thruple with them.
Yeah.
But it's just not a good song. I agree with you. It's just not a good song.
Yeah, but he's used to listening to early aughts pop music, which is this explosion, sonic boom, and Shawn Mendes and Bieber, they're just having some little rinky-dink acoustic jams. It's
that's true.
It's not shit that you're going to play at the Super Bowl. It's not Katy Perry. It's not Black Eyed Peas. It's not A. Marie.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I just, I think that is maybe I should explore an early 2000s pop hits playlist next time I pound the pavement.
All you need to do is type it in.
All you need to do is type it in. That's true. I can't even think about a playlist that's made for me. That makes my life so much easier.
And then if I've had like a sort of bad day and I'm feeling a little bit angsty, I'll do 2000s alternative.
Do you have some? Can you give us a couple examples of what alternative means to you? Or is it like Avril Lavigne, or is it like
Bush?
Or like Bush?
Well, I think Bush would have been more 90s.
Yeah, that's more 90s.
Oh, that's true. I apologize. I'm showing my age. I apologize.
No. But it's I don't know. I'm trying to think of what's on this playlist. It's like Arcade Fire and all this band had Wolf in there was like Wolf Parade.
Wolf Mother.
Wolf Mother.
Wolf Parade was a Wolf
Jet.
Eyes. There was a lot of Wolf in there. I think
MJT.
Jet. That was a good era for me personally. Damn, I love the two halves. I love the yin and the yang of your running playlist. This is really interesting. Because I listen to Dipset and like 15 Drake songs, and that's like as good as I'm gonna get. And then I'll throw in some pop punk to really bring me over the line.
You know that really emotional, or I don't know if anyone else found it emotional, but Biden came out with like an IGTV clip or spot that had him coming off of an airplane to Eminem's "Lose Yourself."
Oh God, yes. What
and
did that?
Like, only get one shot. And it lead up to, I guess it was like post-election night, from like whenever, was it Tuesday to Saturday, however long that took, I listened to that when I was running on a loop as like, what? And go between, running faster miles than I'd ever run in my life to like crying, like angry crying while running. It was a real like,
wow.
Damn.
You're shedding skin like Ashley Simpson.
Yeah, you really are. This is honestly, you sound like you've had the best quarantine ever, to be honest. I'm both jealous and inspired.
Chris, you should be jealous of his rebirth.
I know. Because I haven't. I mean, well, also you've been working the whole time, which I know we've skipped over, but the making a magazine, we've talked with a few people who have, made magazines in quarantine. And I think it's been different for everyone, but did you find the process, was it totally brutal, or did you guys get the hang of it pretty quickly?
So we didn't end up we do 6 issues a year, and we had just closed the spring issue as we were going into lockdown, and the following summer we had about 2 months to produce that, and we didn't end up doing it in large part because it ended up being it was sort of like I could furlough some of my staff and make a magazine, or not make a magazine and keep everyone. And we decided obviously it was a no-brainer, and we decided to keep everyone and focus on the website. So because of that, there was like quite a big lull between the spring issue that we had put out and the September issue that we were then going to put out.
Who was on the cover of the spring issue?
It was Selena Gomez.
Yes. Okay. I remember.
And then we put Lana on the September Lana Del Rey on the September cover. We had a bit of time, I guess, is what I'm saying, to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of I miss everyone, and it's been now 9 months or 10 months since I've seen anyone IRL from the team. But
that's pretty fucking crazy when you think about it. Like, that's pretty wild. I mean, that's pretty wild. Like, because you see them every day on fucking Zoom, but it just doesn't. I know it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, and I mean, I've hired 2 people during the pandemic that I've never met in real life.
Yeah. They might not even exist at all. They could just be AI learning.
What is Lil Michaela doing at Interview Magazine? That's a pretty crazy hire.
Well, Nick, we've noticed that we've been doing this podcast over quarantine, that it's kind of been easier to book guests to come on the show because people have more free time and they have less things to do. Has it been easier to convince celebrities to interview each other for the magazine?
It's never. I guess I don't. I haven't noticed a big difference, to be honest. I think it has been easier to get people who perhaps everyone's a little bit freer, I guess. So yeah, maybe that's the truth is in there somewhere. I haven't really noticed a tangible difference, to be honest. What I've noticed is that a lot of when we sort of redirected much of our attention to the website over the summer, and it needed quite a bit of love, and so we all like kind of banded together to work on that, and we were getting people like Nicole Kidman and Charlize Theron and Matthew McConaughey and like really famous people to doing those interviews for the site, when before I don't think we would have been able to get them. So I don't totally know if that's because of the content, we kept working on the content, or if people, Nicole Kidman was bored.
It's probably a little bit of all.
A little bit of both. But I mean, how much of the stuff from the magazine goes online and how much is exclusive for the web?
Everything that's in the magazine goes on the site. And then I would say, I don't know about percentages. I would say, we have like a 2-week rollout for each issue, and that happens 6 times a year. And then the rest, and so those 2 weeks are really like quite heavily populated by print material. And then outside of that, in that 2-month window, there's still a month and a half where it's all web content, web original. Sure. So we're doing a lot.
Yeah, no, it is a lot. I mean, Interview has like such a rich history. Do you feel that? Like, was there a pressure when you started, or is it something that you feel like I can respect that, but make this thing my own and kind of continue on?
I didn't when I started. When I got the job.
And what were you doing before? Where were you before?
I was at T magazine at the Times.
That's right. Okay.
And I loved that job so much. And I loved the people that I worked with, and I was in no way looking for another gig. And so they came to me asking me if I'd like to talk about the interview job. And of course I was so flattered, but it was a weird position and like a nice position to be in, to like want it, but also to be like very happy at what I was then doing. So I guess I wasn't like, I loved the magazine growing up, but I wasn't, I hadn't read all of the Warhol biographies, and I wasn't, I didn't feel like I was going to crumble under that pressure until I got there, until I sort of like rolled up my sleeves and started exploring the archives and getting a better sort of firsthand sense of the history of this thing. At which point I was already there, and it was too late to panic, but I was panicked.
Sure. Yeah.
And I started, and I wanted to kind of reinvent it or rethink it. And that took a minute to figure out how to do. But now I think we're in a kind of nice place where it's a mix of me, and it's a mix of, and the team that we have, and a mix of the sort of nods to the history and the different eras of the magazine, because it had so many, pretty rich identities over the.
No, totally. And what is the archive situation looking like? Like, when this is all over, can I come browse, or how does it work?
Yeah, take a look. It's there's a section that is there's like a hardcover giant tomes that have within them have individual issues, but then as it progresses, then they're sort of like some of them are in plastic bags, and they're everything is really. It is not. What I'm trying to say is it's not the Condé Nast archives. Like you get.
But is it all there? Is it all there somewhere?
No, that's like sometimes everyone always wants to look at the little Kim. There was like
Oh, of course, the famous David LaChapelle, correct?
Yeah, with the Louis Vuitton monogram on her naked body, and it's such an iconic cover. And I don't think we have that one.
I don't think we have that one.
Yeah, I don't know where that one is.
Well, you can just buy one on eBay, slide it in. You know what I mean? It's who knows the difference?
Yeah.
I'm at my parents' house, and I was going through some of my archives here, and I did find my personal favorite interview cover, which is Evan Dando surrounded by lemons with just his face sticking out by Bruce Weber, which is one of my favorites. So I just had to tell you about it. I just had to tell you about it.
I love that one, and it like is part of a weird time in the magazine's history when they went for like a food motif. Ads, and that like makes sense, you get it. But then I think around that time they also did a Kathy Bates issue, where it was the entire issue was themed corn, and so like
what the fuck?
It's nuts, and like the logo is rendered in kernels of corn, and each of the cover lines is like a like something pops, like it's all like riff off of corn.
It's all corn puns.
Yeah,
as
like
many
somebody
as you can handle.
Real. Yeah. So they went through a phase. I don't know what was happening internally at the magazine at that.
Yeah, me neither.
At the very least, they were hungry.
Yeah, they're starving.
They're super hungry. But the new issue. So I actually, before we even had this planned, I think I saw the cover and I fucking love it. Like I really like the cover, and I found that a lot of these like quarantine shoots leave a lot to be desired. But for whatever reason, this one really hits for me. And I mean, I know Nick. I'm a fan of Nick. Gabriella was on the podcast. We're obviously a fan of her. But even beyond that, I think it just really works. And I think this is something very hard to do. But I feel like the collage effect you guys used really made it work. I'd love to hear how it came together.
Well, we had been wanting to do Lakeith, and he was shooting The Harder They Fall, I believe, which is a movie with Idris Elba is in it.
Yes.
And who else is in the cast? Jonathan Majors, I think. And they were shooting in Santa Fe. And unbeknownst to us, when we booked the cover, clearly it was a huge Netflix production with hundreds of people on staff, and they were all isolated together. And so the idea of having like us from the magazine traipse in to shoot him, to photograph him, was out of the question, but we didn't know that when we first booked it. And I think
you're saying this shit is all planned, and then you later find out like, oh, we can't risk 100 people in Santa Fe.
Well, the cover's booked. Like,
yeah,
we confirmed the cover. We're talking to Gabriella, and I don't know that Nick is on board yet. But yeah, we were wanting to proceed with this cover, and then we find out that we actually have to do it remotely. And in a normal time, a curveball like that, it would be quite easy to be like, okay, well, forget about it. And I too have been, it felt like everyone was doing the best possible version of getting images for their magazines, but I was so tired of seeing stuff on, through FaceTime or Zoom. Even though, I get it. It's what we've all had to do. And so we kind of wanted to lean into the artifice or not the artifice, but I guess the sort of it, which is why we included, and like Nick's so good at bringing his collage elements into it. And so he had the idea of including the cover as an image on a phone on the cover of a print magazine, which I thought was fun and cheeky to begin with. And then inside, it's like the text exchanges or the G-chats or the messages that are going back and forth during the shoot, talking about how major he looks or how we need more of this. And we thought, pulling back the curtain a little bit, instead of trying to ignore the fact that this was all done virtually, and try and lean into it as a bit of of the moment. Made it more interesting. But yeah,
it does make it more interesting. I mean, I think that like my favorite is when people were faking like celebrities were shooting it themselves. Like that was my favorite part of quarantine. It's like, bitch, come on, we ain't stupid. We are not falling for that. But I think that
celebrities were shooting themselves. What do you mean?
I think that GQ was like Robert Pattinson shoots himself for the cover, and it's like well done. It's very well done. Like it's a little too well done for an amateur. You know what I mean? There are some professional elements that are required. But I think that like this is the most interesting way to do that, and I think that it also feels like what's funny to me is that it's coming so deep into quarantine. You know what I mean? It's coming like it almost took this long for it to be good.
Mm-hmm. Well, interesting because we did the Lana cover, and Lana Del Rey's sister Chuck photographed her in person, and we kind of got away because we didn't do a summer issue at the height of when everyone was doing the remote shoots. We didn't actually engage with that type of shoot all that much, and so now that everybody is so totally like on the other side of not having to do these kind of shoots, that's when we started.
Yeah, no. Well, look, if honestly, I think this might be the best one. I really like it. So if you go out on top, that's fine. You know what I mean? It's a better place to be. I also wanted to ask about the. I feel like you guys. I mean, this is a little bit nerdy, but I feel like you guys changed the size and the paper, the stock as well. Am I wrong?
No, we went down in size in like 2017 maybe, and in large part it was because we weren't getting the placement that we wanted on mainstream newsstands because they couldn't accommodate an oversized magazine.
I was going to say that as a magazine collector, I find the oversized thing to be like cool first flip through, but then for storage purposes, it's a little bit annoying. Yeah,
absolutely. And like nobody wants to. I mean, we're back to a huge size, but nobody wants to carry around. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a commitment in a way that you have to really be dedicated to the thing. So we went smaller, and then we didn't want it to seem as if we were doing the like. I don't know. Magazines will go like shrink in size, and the paper stock gets thinner, and then all of a sudden,
it's gone.
So we wanted to increase the stock, and that just felt disingenuous and felt more like a European fashion magazine. So we tried that for a bit, and that wasn't right. And anyway, we've gone back up to the scale and to the paper stock of the sort of 80s era of the magazine, which is more in keeping with what we want to be doing anyway, which is like, it's not precious, and it feels sort of the moment and maybe a little bit temporary or urgent, I guess.
What magazines did you read growing up? I know that was like probably the most important part of my development besides like punk and hardcore was like discovering magazines when I was in middle school and high school. So I'd love to know in suburban Ontario what you had access to.
Yeah. I read Vanity Fairs. Vanity Fair was a little too intelligent for me when I at that age, so I wasn't like that interested in the comings and goings of like boardroom execs, but I did always love the Leawood issue and like the threefold gatefold,
the big Annie Leibovitz covers that are like stitched together.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get to like the third page, and there would be like Graydon Carter's dog, and like I loved those ones.
Graydon is my king. So you're talking to a person who's going to subscribe to airmail until it goes into the grave.
Yeah. But it really was for that issue. I was like, that was the special issue.
Yeah.
In the same way that like Entertainment Weekly would always do a year-end roundup of the best and worst entertainers. I'm sure they still do. And that was always like I really, really loved that one.
I want to ask you this because I feel like Entertainment Weekly comes up a lot. It's like a respected magazine among people in the business, and I just that one never really like came across my desk, for lack of a better term. What is it? What about it? I just don't get it. What's the appeal there? Just good writing?
I think it's like an unabashed, there's no elitism to it. It's like they'll talk about the latest Real Housewives franchise, but also, I don't know, like a new art house film. And with equal sort of glee and reverence. And I think they had really good, like Owen Gleiberman was a film critic there for, I don't know, maybe still is. And like Gillian Flynn had a column there. Do I say hard G? Gillian Flynn? The Gone Girl writer.
Yeah.
And Stephen King had a TV column for that. I don't know. They had like cool.
They just did a good job. Basically, it was better than it needed to be.
Yeah. And so I like that. But then, really, for me, The Face was my absolute favorite magazine. Right. Like framed covers on my wall, and I thought it was like it was like cool and horny and like party. I loved it.
That's actually how people describe Jason. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Cool and horny and party.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always shiny.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the face is probably the most important for me as well. But it also, I think it had that like British sheen to it that made it more glamorous than it would have been if it was an American.
Yeah, I think so too. Did you ever read Alan Hollinghurst's The Line of Beauty, the book?
No.
There's a character in it who works for the face, and I think like there's like the gay sex part of it that really like spoke to me, but then there was also this character who worked at the face that you should read it. Anyway.
I mean, I love when a character works at a magazine and it's realistic. It's rare. So, that sounds good to me.
That must have been your Bible growing up then.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been talking about industry a lot on this podcast because the sex seems pretty graphic. Have you watched that?
Oh, it's wild.
I haven't watched it because I can't watch it. I just don't care enough. It's crazy.
How did the sex scenes make you feel? Comfortable or uncomfortable?
There's not a lot of like romance in any of the sex scenes. And like
clinical.
I think you're really conflicted when you're watching it because there's an exchange. There's like I don't know. There's an exchange. They're trading something in the way that they're doing with their day jobs with their bodies. And
interesting.
Like nice, and it's like they're having sex in like bathroom stalls at the holiday party. I don't know if that's true, but
they're doing coke in there.
They're doing coke.
They're trading sex like a freaking stock. You know what I mean?
Like a freaking stock. I mean, is that something that I actually need to watch? Do both of you agree?
Yeah, you should absolutely watch it.
The first episode I found really hard to I was not sold. And then, as is often the case, I'm usually on the wrong side of history. Like I remember thinking the Lady Gaga was a fad.
Damn, do not say that.
For a few years, I think we all felt that way.
I was like, I don't think we should do anything with her. I don't think that's going to last. And I'm always wrong. And that's what happened with industry. I was like, I don't really get it. And then everyone told me to go back and rewatch it. And then I got past the first episode, and I think it's great.
Did you like the We Are Who We Are? Because I couldn't get past the first episode of that.
I only watched the first 2 episodes.
See, I feel vindicated then. Jason definitely didn't watch that. It's a little too highbrow.
I don't even
That's
know
a little too highbrow.
Is.
That's a little too highbrow for Jason.
Is that on the Criterion channel, Chris? Where would you find that?
No, it's on HBO. It's I can't ever pronounce his last name. Nick, can you pronounce his last name?
Yeah, Guadagnino.
Wow, damn! Don't flex on me like that.
He had that
Luca
one already teed up,
Guadagnino,
ready to go.
who did "Call Me by Your Name," Jason. And
yes.
it's starring your favorite actor and rapper, Kid Cudi.
God, why would somebody watch that?
Well, Chloe Sevigny's in it as well, so
Okay.
it's a little bit. It has something for me and something not for me, which led me to at least watch one episode. Which I thought was reasonable. But have you been digesting a lot of content during this downtime when you're not exercising? What would you recommend? What are the top programs
other than
films?
chiropractic videos on your Explore page?
Yeah, of course.
Which they can't say enough good things about. I've been watching. I feel like HBO Max has really stepped up their game over the past little while, as everyone is sort of struggling to, because all the production's halted, so like people are running out of TV. But HBO Max has come out with The Flight Attendant.
Wait, you like The Flight Attendant?
I think is so good. It's not good. I just think it's such a fun, soapy thing to watch, and I don't know. She's traveling a lot. And
wait, hold on. This is, just to be clear, this stars Kelly Cuoco, known horse girl and former sex pot of that nerd show on ABC, right?
Big Bang Theory, and also the artwork of the show stolen from Mad Men's opening credits. But carry on.
You're right on counts. Although also She was on one season of Charmed, and her big break was on 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter with John Ritter. And
Wow.
she is kind of a comedic. I just watched it. She's kind of a comedic genius, and the cast is rounded out by Rosie Perez and what's her face from Girls, Shoshana.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And Rosie was just in the newest issue of Interview, yeah.
Yeah, she did a piece in the new issue. Anyway,
I missed that gal. So you would. It sounds like you're cool hive over there. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm. You just listed her IMDb credits. Like you might have a shrine to her in your house.
You have been reading EW.
Kaylee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm obsessed.
Oh, Kelly. I call her Kelly.
I've never known anybody who likes Kaylee Cuoco like this. This is very interesting. Because didn't she marry like a horse trainer that she met at the stables?
She and they're both horse girls, which is a phrase I've only heard about like recently. Yeah. They're both equestrian.
But usually, like the phrase "horse girl" is not often used so literally, as in somebody who owns and rides horses and meets people at the stables.
I don't know what it normally.
Yes, it does. It's just, well, it can also mean like a type of person, but I think they have to have an equestrian background, obviously.
I think you could use it to describe some, the same way it'd be like a visco girl, like that type of energy, like.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm saying you don't need to own a saddle to be a horse girl. Okay.
That's true. And I think Kaylee probably owns a lot because, when you're on the most popular television show in America that no one I know ever watched, you're raking in the money.
Yeah, speaking of, Nick, you call yourself a Kelly fan. Name 5 episodes of Big Bang Theory.
By the titles of the show?
That's right, you heard me. Don't act like you don't know them.
Back in Toronto watches that show. It's it's syndicated forever. So usually on, but I don't know. I never got into that show.
Good for you.
Well, so as a Canadian, are you contractually obligated to love Schitt's Creek?
I love Schitt's Creek. I unabashedly love Schitt's Creek. I think Dan is a friend, and I think Kara is like the greatest comedian. I think it's great, and I think it like I don't totally understand the narrative of this like show that kept chugging along until I realized that is what happened, but from day one it was a great show.
Yeah, I agree with you. I always heard it was good from day one, but you're right. People act like it was constantly like the underground, like come from behind, and like everybody's always said this is good. I don't know.
It's kind of. I think the humor, like Eugene Levy's, it's like people will love watching Best in Show or Waiting for Guffman or all those movies, but like they don't make a shitload of money at the box office. It's just like they'll make $7 million and then it'll live for infamy as a cult classic.
Right.
No, but they won. Dan, who looked great in Tom Brown, I'd like to add in the skirt, which I love seeing a man in a skirt, as you know, Jason. They did win every possible Emmy Award. It was crazy.
Yeah, the last season's a great show, Chris. You should watch it.
They won so many awards. It was mind-blowing. It was really impressive.
They won all of them. They won.
I think they won every award they were nominated for. I think, which is like kind of unheard of. Unless I'm mistaken, but that's. You watched, Jason? Did you watch all of it or just the last season?
I think I watched all of it. Yeah, but the last season they did a really good job at tying it all up in a bow. Not a dry eye in the house over here in Glendale when the credits played at the end.
Is crying while watching TV.
It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen for sure. And I welcome it. It's the only time I really do get a good squirt.
I'm only able to shed tears entertainment wise if it's a movie and it's coming of age.
Yeah, so it's not like during necessarily a tragic moment. It's during a lesson.
Unfortunately, Nick, tragedy does not do anything to my cold, dead heart.
Same.
It needs to be perks of being a wallflower and they're listening to Bowie in the car and life is just ahead of them,
Yeah, I think the cold-hearted dad who's like rather stoic throughout the entire show just needs to tell his son that he's proud of him, and that's then.
That's when the tears start flowing for you. You got to go for a run to shake it all out. All right, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure,
guys. Thanks so much for having me. This was so fun.
You're great, and the new issue of Interview with Lakeith Stanfield is on shelves now.
Yeah, it's out.
It's on,
Nick,
on shelves.
out of all the interviews in this issue, which one is your personal favorite?
Which one do I like the most? I guess there's Glenn Close is in the issue, and we shot her at her ranch in Bozeman, Montana. Whoopi Goldberg interviewed her, and it is a delight. I would recommend.
Legends only. Glenn Close and Whoopi Goldberg.
Two
Nick's
queens.
rubbing elbows with the best, Jason. We're losers, but we're lucky to be in his
And I was
presence.
saying before we called you, like, this interview, like, that's just one of like 10 just home run interviews of like, bam, you got this person talking to this person. Unbelievable. So well done.
Thank you very much.
Yep, Nick, we'll talk to you soon. Guys, Nick is available on Instagram, and the magazine's on shelves now. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Thank you.